Anointed warriors, what up, spiritual family? And welcome back to Mount Fitness MBS Ministry, where I am your host, Brother Mongoose. If by chance you're tuning in for the very first time, please be advised that this is not your traditional type of ministry, nor am I the traditional type of minister. For more information about exactly what I mean by that, please stay tuned to the end of the video. But for right now, I'd like to again formally welcome you guys back to the channel. If you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the ministry, a special salute and shout out of thanks, love, gratitude, and appreciation goes out to all of you guys. If you guys are new or somewhere in between, tuning in from the first time, or somewhere in between being a long-time subscriber, hey, listen, I do value you guys. I do appreciate all of you guys, and I mean that. So keep hanging in. I'll keep doing my absolute best to give you guys content that you guys find, worthy of your time, your attention, and that's God willing, helpful on your journey. So without further ado, guys, we're going to take right off into today's topic. We're going to be addressing a question that I get asked oftentimes. It's actually a question that I've been asked in an incalculable amount of time over the years. And that question is, guys, what's the difference between spirituality and religion? I'm pretty sure there's a good chance that a lot of you guys out there may already know the difference, or maybe not. But in any event, it is a question that I continue to get. And so I thought I'd kind of unwrap that, if you will, in today's message. Because in a nutshell, guys, there is a distinct difference between the two. Let me start there. There is a distinct difference between the two. And in a nutshell, religion, you could kind of package this up or unpackage this in whatever way that suits your viewpoint. But a way to put it, in my eyes, is religion, and this is all of the different religions. Religions are created. They're designed. They're intended. They were established, made up, given to us by God, however you want to word it. But the intent and the purpose of religions is to guide us to spirituality, to guide us and to lead us into spirituality. And so, well, then what is spirituality? Spirituality, again, in a nutshell, again, you package this or unpackage it how you want. Spirituality is that destination where you arrive at this understanding and this existence of a direct relationship between you and this thing that we most commonly refer to as God. That's it, again, in a nutshell. So religion would be the steps, the roadmap, if you will, that's intended to guide you to a certain destination. That destination being spirituality / where you have developed, you have established, or you have awakened to the fact that you have the direct, or you have the potential of having a direct relationship with this thing called God. And I mean a relationship, communication, and all that goes along with that, whether it's guidance, protection, dialogue, discourse. It's direct, and you don't need a pastor, a minister, an imam, a pope, a reverend, the church, the mosque, temple, synagogue. You don't need those things. You have either established or you've awakened to the fact that there is a possibility for you to establish a direct line of communication with this thing that we call God. This is why the good book says that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Now, if it's already in you, you don't need me, you don't need a pastor, you don't need your wife, your spouse, the church, the mosque, anything. Now, obviously, God gives us these things, as to characterize somewhat loosely, He gives us these things: wife, husband, kids, church, and all these different things, as tools, if you will, that we can continue to return to in order to, course correct, study, research, analyze, continue to grow, but all under the development of the establishment or the potential establishment of this destination, which is you having direct contact with Heavenly Father. You don't need a middleman. That's what it's all about. And quite frankly, this is what the powers that be have sought so vehemently over the years to keep hidden from you and me and collective society. They've continued to attempt to keep us thinking that we need them. You need to go to the church. You need to go confess to the imam, pastor, whatever. You need to do these things. Again, nothing wrong with those things. Those things have their purpose. But it's essentially like pulling out your roadmap. Well, got MapQuest nowadays, but you comprehend. It's essential or likened unto pulling out your roadmap, being in one destination and saying, okay, what's the route that I need to take in order to get to New York, to Texas, Oklahoma, wherever. What's the roadmap? What's the route that I need to take? And then you follow that roadmap, and then when you get there, okay, you're there now. You don't need that roadmap. Nothing wrong with you having it and reflecting back upon it, or perhaps even returning to it as you maybe go to and fro from those locations. But again, you comprehend. Once you've established, once you've arrived at your location, it's like, okay, the roadmap served its purpose. And now I don't need that anymore. I don't have to be limited by that. And so those are the two. That's the difference, again, in a nutshell, of what's the difference between religion and spirituality. One is designed to get you to a certain place, and the other is, hey, once you're at that certain place, now you can reap the benefits of all the lessons you've learned, all the yield signs, to stop, to turn left, to go on I-75 for 50 miles. You can benefit from all of that now that you're in the destination. So the strength, the love, the power, the wisdom, the courage, the ability to show kindness, compassion, forgiveness, all of these things are actually waiting for us once we arrive at the destination of spirituality. The roadmap is just different signs, different indication, different instructions on how we get there. And this is why you can see, people praying or even fasting, they're praying from sun up to sundown. A lot of times nothing happens. Now we get it that sometimes nothing happens just as a result of God's divine timing. We get that. But collectively speaking, oftentimes people are praying, they're fasting until there's a lot thinner than my pinky finger, and nothing happens. And it's not that nothing happens just solely in, the physical realm or what they're praying for, a new job, spouse, healing, or whatever. It's not just that nothing happens there. It's nothing. A lot of times, nothing happens internally. So they're still mean-spirited. They're still arrogant. They're still lustful. They're still hateful and greedy and arrogant and all of these things. No matter how much, no matter how many times they sit down and look at that roadmap, it's not going to get it done for them. It was designed to be a direction to get you into spirituality. And this is to say with all of the different religions, they're just different roadmaps to get you to the same destination. So again, if it's Oklahoma, Las Vegas, wherever it is that you're trying to go to, wherever you are in the United States, let's say for example, wherever you are, whether you're in upper, middle, lower, Midwest, Southeast, wherever you are, and you're trying to get to Las Vegas, say for example, there's more than several different ways that you can get there, leaving from that same destination. There's not one way. Maybe one main highway that you can start off on, but ultimately you can make a left and then go straight. You can go down several hundred miles, then you can cross over and then angle back up, and whatever the case may be. And this is how the religions work. So whether it's Islam, Gnosticism, Rastafarianism, whether it's some of the ancient mystical teachings, whether it's philosophy and all these different things, all the same thing, different maps to get you to the same destination, different branches that all lead back to the same tree. So we have to keep this in mind, particularly as we grow and evolve and our eyes are open and we begin to realize, okay, hold on a second. If this religion is everything that it says it is, / it's the end all be all, like once I commit to this religion and I follow all the principles and all the beliefs and the teachings, then everything is going to be the way they're supposed to be in accordance with his will. If it's all of that, then how can it also be all of that and yet it's robbed, it's killed, it's murdered, it's pillaged, it's enslaved, it's looted, it's deceived? And this is all religions, some more than others, as we know. But this is all religions as well as all the different ancient religions that we most commonly say predates religions. So the ancient religions that existed before the Bible, before the Quran, the ancient mystical and shamanistic teachings, people have picked up that information, and because they're holding so dear to that information, they've started riots, they've invaded other people's land, they've pillaged, they've enslaved, all across the board. And the point that I'm making is because people have become fixated to that religion, and they become simultaneously stagnated as a result of that religion. When the fact of the matter is, all of these are just different routes, different branches of the same tree. You either are a high quality individual / you're either for real about this thing we call spiritual, or this thing that we call God, and it's truth that we communicate and serve and worship him through truth and in spirit. Through truth and in spirit. Now, it can't be truth if you're running around here enslaving people. When you get to that spirit and you start operating in that spirit, man or woman, you begin to realize you're either a high quality human being or you're not. There's no more of this stuff that we were limited by when it comes to religion, because you were pushing religion, you still was a racist. Pushing religion, you still was a thug. Pushing religion and hold fast into religion and going to church and the mosque and all these different things, you still were cheating on your spouse. You still was a mean-spirited person. But once you can use that religion for what it was originally intended, given to us by God, however you want to word it, once you start using that as for what it is, which is a roadmap, and you begin to operate in spirituality, then the changes begin, the metamorphosis begin, to where it's like, hey man, I want freedom and justice for everybody. I'm trying to respect all life, all plant life, all human life, all animal life, the life of Mother Earth. I want justice and fairness for everybody. I believe everyone deserves a chance, a fair and equal opportunity. You start living by a whole different credo, a whole different heart set once you're living in spirituality, because there's no room for all these little petty differences once you evolve and start walking in the spirit man or woman. There's no time to be looking at somebody saying they're a bad person because of their color or they're a good person because of their color. The good book says you will know them by their fruits. You can tell a tree by its fruits. You don't have to guess. You don't have to prejudge. You walk up, you see apples on it. Okay, that's an apple tree. It's not like, oh, that tree is in my homie's backyard. So regardless of the fact that it's apples on it, I'm going to classify it, as a grape tree, whatever the case may be. So that's essentially what the difference is. And again, when you go from living according to the religious laws, principles, tentacles, beliefs, or whatnot, hey, that's fine. That's totally fine. But when you start limiting yourself to that, and you're not about growth, evolution, expansion, you're not about totally realizing that, hey, I can sit this book down, and I'm not saying anybody should do this. I'm just saying the fact remains that you can put that book down. You don't have to go to the mosque. You don't have to go to the temple or whatever it is. You become that temple. And the good book says that his temple was not shaped or made by hands. You, the walk in you, is the true temple, the true house of God. But you can only unwrap that. You can only discover that by, oftentimes, most of us, we actually start with religion. We often start with religion. And oftentimes, a lot of us that have grown on into our spirituality, we still see and utilize religion as a tool, as a foundation that we can constantly, study, research, regurgitate, measure ourselves up against that which we're supposed to be. But we're not limited by that. We're not limited by that, because that may tell you that, hey, you're a Christian, that's a Muslim, that's your enemy, or vice versa. And so you begin to realize that that's really kind of for the birds once you really, really step into the spirit realm, where everything is about love and truth and power and passion and fairness and humbleness and courage and forgiveness. It's all about these things, regardless of what's going on with these papers here. And that's not to make light or become dismissive of those different religions. It's just you grow and you evolve and realize that, hey, on this spiritual level, I can look back and see, wow, I'm really fond of that religion. I need that religion, but a lot of people have died because of that religion. A lot of people are stuck in, as the old timers would say, they're stuck on stupid because of that religion, which is to say they're still racist, they're still thugs, and they're following all the laws of that religion day in and day out. So once you transition into your spirit man or your woman, then you really go from just trying to follow the rules and going to church. You go into, hey man, how can I walk this? How can I become this? How can I be the love and not just be superficial and go to church and the mosque and all these different things, but then 5 minutes later, you're throwing up, half a fifth with your homeboys on the corner, or you sneaking around on your wife or husband, or you're treating some poor person unfairly, you're being judgmental. How can I go from all of that and to really, really develop this divine connection with this thing we call God, first cause, prime source, infinite intelligence, Allah, Buddha, Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it? How do I embody that? How do I let that actually take up residence in me? And instead of me just knowing these rules, like actually implementing and becoming these rules. That's what's waiting for you at the spirit level. And again, religion has its purpose, which is to guide you to there. And once you get there, you really, really start seeing that, you know what? You're doing things different. You're responding to things different. Your behavior is different. Not in a superficial or fake, holier than thou way. It's just that, hey, man, this used to really piss me off. Or, I used to really, really overreact to that. Or, I used to really, really find myself being jealous of this. I found myself being unworthy of that. I found myself being all these different things. And once you really start operating in your spirit, man or woman, you all of a sudden wake up like, okay, hold on a second. I'm moving different. I'm on a whole different time. And the things that once easily beset me, I'm not into no more. And the things that, I was looking for, the answers, the breakthroughs, all these different things that he has promised me, all of a sudden they're just lining up. They're just coming out of nowhere. And it's because you've arrived in that spirit man or woman and you've transcended the religion. Even though, again, it's definitely cool to keep having that. You guys hear me quote the Bible, quote the Quran, quote the Buddha, Confucius. A lot of things that I say comes from these different religions and ways of life. But at the same time, dealing with the spirit man, I'm not limited or handcuffed, shackled down by any of those things. And that's where I think he wants all of us to be. Whatever your religion is, whatever your faith is, whatever your faith is, you follow that, you study that, prove yourself worthy and abide by those rules. And then ultimately, if it's meant and in his divine timing, you begin to kind of transcend those things. Again, not in an arrogant, egotistical way, but just in a way that says, hey, man, I see people practicing this every day. And when they're not in the church, or sometimes when they're in the church, they're doing all the things that people of the world are living. In fact, this is why a lot of people in the world have given up on religion. They see religion as being, shallow and superficial because people are professing religion and they can quote these books and these verses to and fro. And they're at church service, they're at prayer service, and they're doing all these different things. They're at, they're at Talim, they're at Juma, they're doing all these different things. But they're also doing the things of the world. And so people kind of like, who wants that religion? I might as well just do things of the world. But for those of us who have grown by his mercy and his grace and have evolved into our spiritual selves, we're the one that's actually trying to do our absolute best to continue to strengthen, renew. For some of you guys, and maybe you are yet trying to establish that direct connection with him, and to actually be the truth that those religions espouse. So that's what I got for you guys. I'm going to talk about the ministry here in just a second, but I want to thank you guys for tuning in. So let's just get right into it. Hey, listen, if you're interested in what makes this a different kind of ministry, it starts with just what I just said. This ministry is not based on religion. Keep in mind, this ministry does in fact trace its origins back to religion, but this ministry is not handcuffed or limited by religion. In fact, this ministry is promoting a holistic mind, body, and spirit approach to life, to health and wellness, and to running the race that he has set before us. This ministry provides you with real-world services that are designed to help you nourish and strengthen the mental, physical, and spiritual you. These services consist of experiential-based philosophical consultative services for the mind, ISSA certified fitness training for the body, and clean-hearted spiritual teachings and practices for the spirit and for the soul. Additional services that are provided by this ministry, in which this holistic approach is also implemented, consist of good old-fashioned motivational speaking, as well as youth and young adult mentoring and counseling. Now, if you'd like some more specific information about these services, what they consist of, how they're implemented, and how they can be beneficial to you, please watch a video that's titled MBS Service Tutorial. And also, please visit the physical fitness branch of the ministry located at mountfitnessmbs.com. And there's that word again in a nutshell, guys. That is what makes this a different kind of ministry. If you're interested in the services, if you have follow-up questions, or if you'd like to schedule your initial consultation and evaluation in any or all of the services, I'm going to leave an email link down in the description box. Excuse me. Now, if you want to know what makes me a different kind of minister, hey, don't miss this. I'm going to ask that you watch a video, and it's very important. I'll tell you why here in a second. But there's a video that's titled My Testimony and Disclosure. Please watch that if you want to get some information about what makes me a different kind of minister. The reason it's so important is because that testimony and disclosure video may right off the bat let you know, hey, you're not about this ministry. This ministry ain't meant for you. You're not meant for this ministry, and that's totally fine. My point is, if that's the case, then why waste your time? Hey, watch the video, decide. Why procrastinate is my thing. Especially when it's something as important as that. Hey, you may watch 5-10 videos. You may support the ministry for 5-10 years, only to then find out the information that's in that testimony and disclosure, and then find out, wow, that's 10 years wasted. I'm not supporting that guy or that ministry. So please check that out. Now, the flip side of that coin is that same testimony and disclosure video may be very inspiring to you, maybe uplifting, maybe motivating. It may be just what you need to make it through another day or to make it through to the next level, whatever the case may be. So if you're one out there who you can afford or literally need to have a pat on the back, a courtesy reminder that he is still on the throne, that video and that testimony may be exactly what you need. And if that's the case, and it could do all those things for you, motivate you, inspire you, renew your own faith, help you renew your own faith or what have you, then why leave that swinging in the breeze? Check that out as soon as possible as it relates to the possibility of you coming back and checking out more of this ministry. I believe that's everything that I got for you guys. That'll tell you what makes me different as a minister. That my testimony and disclosure video. Now, I'm going to get out of here, but I'd like to ask you guys a couple questions. If you're familiar with the channel, you know what these questions are. 1, was today's message beneficial to you at all? Did you find any value in it whatsoever? Second question, do you think there's anybody that maybe, just maybe, can find benefit and value in today's message? Now, if your answer is yes to either of those questions, then please don't procrastinate. Procrastination is the enemy of progress. Stop right now if you would, please. Start by hitting the share button. Take a message that you found value in or you think someone else may find value in. Hit the share button. Take that message, pay it forward, and give that message an opportunity to provide value in someone's life. Also, guys, please hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. This way you help grow this ministry by way of the YouTube algorithm. And please also hit the bell icon if you'd like to receive notifications when I upload a new message. If the Holy Spirit moves you to help support me as I move forward and am allowed by way of your generosity to spend more time making videos, researching, studying, going into prayer, meditation, observation, implementation of the strategies, practices, and things that I recommend to you guys. There's a very tedious vetting process that goes into making each one of these videos. Nothing is just done on the fly. Nothing is just, hey, it sounds good, it makes somebody feel good, let's make a video. That's kind of how I don't do things here. So there is a lot of time and a lot of energy that goes into it. If you'd like to show your appreciation by helping support me so that I can spend more time making these kinds of video, please don't procrastinate. Go to the Cash App link, which I'll leave down in the description box. Also remember that no amount is too small. In closing, guys, let me say that whatever way that you show your love, support, and generosity to this ministry, hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe, sharing the video, leaving comments, investigating or utilizing the services, monetary donation, whatever good seed that you plant into this good ground, He has promised you an abundant harvest, shaken down, pressed together, and running over, flowing over, guys. So receive that by faith, and be it unto you according to your faith. So that's what I got for you guys. I'm going to get out of here. But as always, I like to encourage you guys to always live a life that prioritizes faith over fear, truth over tradition, knowledge over nonsense, love over lust, and people over profit. If you'd like more information about some of the more intimate, if you will, distinguishing factors between spirituality and religion, hit that link. I love the opportunity to provide you with some research material, answer all your questions, etc., etc. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you all. I am Brother Minister Mongoose, and I will holler back. Peace.